Welcome to Musings and Magic. I'm Lauren Fortuna Flock. I'm a mother, doula, the host of the Well-Nourished Mother podcast, and a somatic matrescence guide. I support mothers through the waves of intensity motherhood brings, so they can fall in love with the mother they are and the mother they're becoming.
And I'm Nicole Pasveer, a mom, wife, and host of the Rewild and Free podcast. I help women awaken beyond the conditioning that's been keeping them pretty, perfect, and pleasing so that they can live more consciously, mother intuitively, and grow their business holistically.
We've never met in real life, and we live 700 miles apart.
But we've been holding space for each other virtually since 2022 when we found each other in super similar seasons of life.
Yeah, we were both in our retiring from a super secure nursing job, in the thick of postpartum, and starting a heart-led business era. We found ourselves chatting for hours on Zoom almost weekly, having the deep, why isn't anyone talking about this conversations around all things motherhood and conscious entrepreneurship.
So we started recording these unfiltered and unscripted conversations to bring you this co-created series. We're inviting you in with deep trust that you'll receive whatever insight, wisdom, or solidarity you need in this season, because we all know motherhood and entrepreneurship are lonely as fuck.
Yeah, we're blending our musings with a touch of magic, the kind of woo-woo, more spiritual, witchy stuff that we're both so curious about, but don't fully relate to.
Yet.
Our intention is to invite more ritual into our lives, so we're using this series to anchor into the cycle of the moon, meeting on the full and new moons of each month. We'll do an energy check-in and explore nuanced conversations around big topics related to cyclical orientation, feminine embodiment in business and motherhood, and our own personal explorations related to reclaiming our inner witch.
So if you're ready to come laugh, learn, and reflect with us, then keep listening. But first, we invite you to take the deepest breath you've given to yourself yet today. And when you're ready, let's go.
Hi, friend.
Hi. Welcome to our July full moon Musings and Magic episode.
Can't believe it's July.
I can't believe it's July either. June went by really, really fast.
Yeah.
So July and August is also going to go by really fast. And I feel like my mind already thinks it's September. It's like I'm skipping summer so that I don't have to deal with the grief of no longer having summer. It's the protective mechanism in my body. Sorry. We don't have a lot of time today, but it felt really important to still record something and, honor our devotion to this little series. So we're here. How are you? What's your vibe, your energy, your what's feeling alive?
Yeah, first I'll say that I'm proud of we talk about consistency a lot, but I'm so proud of, like you said, it's our devotion to this project. And devotion, I think, is the better word. But I like that we're doing this in our own way. So we're still being consistent. We're still meeting close to the full moon, but we get to do it in the way that makes sense for us. We don't have a lot of time. It'll probably be like a 15-minute episode. And that's great because we make the rules.
Yeah, we do.
But how am I? I'm good. I am jazzed. I am so energized right now. We've been working together online, on a Zoom chat for the last couple hours, working on a very exciting project. So
talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, tell the world. Tell the world what we are so we get excited about things, but this feels like next level. I feel like we have just been building and building and building and building. Really, it's been years in the making, if we're honest with ourselves. And yeah. I keep coming back to this analogy that we're both these wisdom balls, these balls of wisdom, and we haven't necessarily felt safe to crack that ball open and express all of the things we're sitting on. And we're cutting through that bullshit and no, it's time. It's time to release. It's time to share our wisdom with the world and
yes,
be putting our teaching and educator hats on for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, we are regulated and ready. I don't know why that just popped in my head.
Did I start snapping?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So
let's backtrack. Let's
okay.
Bring language to, oh, hold on. How am I? Ask me how I am.
Did I even say how I am? I don't know. Oh, I'm jazzed. That's right. How are you, Nicole?
I'm jazzed too. So let's just jump to it. I am really feeling lit up. I have actually just kind of come out of this dark hermity hole though. Like there was a couple weeks in June where I honestly like wasn't even getting out of bed. I don't even remember like there were days that I didn't even like open my laptop and like show up to my work and my creations. Yeah, and I really just like honored it. I binged a lot of Love is Blind and I am like an expert like relationship coach now. I was also a guest on a podcast with like a matchmaker, and that's a whole other story. But like the point is I've been kind of coming out of this like short, slow, dark season, and so it feels really good. Like I'm recognizing how much fear can come in that state, right? When you are lacking the desire and almost like lacking libido to show up to things that you're usually really passionate and excited about, that's a really scary feeling, right? It's really
Yeah.
easy to kind of fall into like, oh my God, is this going to be forever? And obviously all of the self-doubt kind of cripples in, and I am known to teeter into I must figure it out, and that really like kind of like must control kind of energy. And I'm happy to report that I was able to soften a lot in this kind of like past experience. I really didn't get there as intensely as I have in the past, and I really just surrendered to, I know there's medicine in this. I know my body is communicating some needs for me, and I really just want to meet those needs. And that for me looked like some really like quiet moments with myself and a little bit of dissociating, and also like just kind of that change of scenery of not creating and not going and not producing. And yeah, I think that was needed to actually be where I am today. And that what you just said, that regulated and ready, right? It's all part of it. We're not supposed to
Yeah.
be on all the time. You need those seasons of integration, even if it's just days or weeks. So I'm proud of myself for for moving through that gracefully. So anyways, I'm jazzed as well. It feels good to be out of it. And yeah, I think it kind of equipped me and prepared me to be um what's the word? Just like regulated and ready for what
See,
we're
it's
working on
good.
right now. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It works. But yeah, I love what you're saying that like, it's nice to be able to not finally, I mean, we have been doing this, but to really lean into this idea. And you can kind of only see this when you look back, but like that was so necessary. It was the underground work. You were recharging, and now look at like how creative and connected and like, how much we've been able to birth into the world, just today alone. Like
No.
you wouldn't have been able to do that last month,
No.
like without that phase. So yeah, it's all part of the cycle, the creation cycle, your energetic cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we
Okay.
want to kind of give some context of like where all this is coming from? What we've been moving through over the past couple years. Um, I mean, I think people that listen know that we are nervous system nerds, that we, really center our work and our personal lives around somatics and embodiment and all of that stuff. We've obviously both been knees deep in motherhood, personally and professionally,
Hmm.
done some trainings and education around matrescence.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, like within all that, we are seeing this really, really big gap between the two.
Yeah. A really big gap. And I found myself like trying to seek out information that was more tailored to mothers, to women, to the
Yeah, the
unique
maternal.
experience of, yeah, the unique maternal experience. And it was so hard to find,
Yeah,
so hard to find. It just, for the most part, doesn't exist. But over the last like year, I'd say I've been able to piece together and like find some really fascinating resources and people to work with and learn from. And I feel like I can find like I'm finally connecting the dots and able, not that I've been connecting the dots, but I didn't have the language to like back it up.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
that
like
language
we're
is
saying,
there.
'cause again, we need that phase, that season of integration. You can't
Yeah.
just digest. It's truly like digesting food, right? Like you can't just like poop it out right away. Not that we're pooping things out, but right, it's
Yeah.
coming out the other side, and we needed that digestion phase. It needed to be metabolized.
We're shitting out a workshop.
Out a really, really, really good workshop. It's not shitty, I promise. Now goal.
Yes. So, essence in the nervous system, we've both been like integrating all of this and it's finally ready to be birthed and shared.
We know those concepts are becoming kind of buzzwords in the industry, finally, right? They're really, really important, and I'm glad they're growing in popularity. But what's happening is they're getting overgeneralized, they're getting watered down. We're just not having the nuanced conversations that both those concepts deserve. And like you said, the nervous system in particular, all we're kind of being taught, the mainstream nervous system education is through the lens of a male's body. And that's harmful because we as women, as mothers, don't have the same physiology and hormonal landscape. And I mean, this workshop, we're going to touch on kind of all the unique factors, right? That's really what we want to start connecting the dots out loud about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a huge gap here. And
Well,
that gap,
superficial? Does that
yeah.
word, that word I feel like is almost rude in a way, but I think if I'm being honest, that's what's happening is the mainstream education is superficial and it's being intellectualized when matrescence needs to be an embodied experience.
Yeah, it's skimming the surface when there's so much depth there is like untouched so far, and we're so excited to share like the connections that we're making, and yeah,
We're
and
also like not experts, and I think that's something that we're both sitting with, and that's kind of that wisdom ball of like it doesn't feel like our ball is complete yet, and we also know that like it's never going to be because these concepts are always evolving. More and more research is coming out, and at this point it feels like a disservice to not share this stuff because it still is something. It still is valuable. It still is potentially more than the person that is going to be learning from us knows, right? Like it'd be a disservice not to share what we know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're going to learn why, like we've said, why the mainstream education around matrescence is complete and how that gap is affecting your client's experience. You're going to learn how overlooking the nervous system may be like creating disconnection and keeping your client stuck. Who wants that? As a doula, as a healer, anybody that's working with mothers, right? You're going to learn the foundations of the maternal nervous system. Where else are you going to learn that? Like it's not being talked about and it's out there. And we've made these connections and we've gathered the research and pieced it all together. And we're going to present it in a really like easy to understand way. And what you're going to be learning about the maternal nervous system is going to help you like provide more holistic care.
Yeah, like holistic in like the truest meaning, not just the fancy popular Instagram, this is holistic, right? We're actually talking about like whole body, all the different facets that makes a person a person.
Yeah. And it's going to allow you to provide more transformational care. Like, who doesn't want to do that? I want the mothers I work with to, like to have the most beautiful and yeah, just to, what am I trying to say?
I don't know. You're speechless because this truly is just so juicy and like
It's true. It's true. I'm so excited. Like, I'm just so excited. But yeah, you're going to leave this with like ideas, new ideas to better support your clients to access safety, to find pleasure, and to promote the hormone that their nervous system, their specific maternal nervous system needs the most in the thick of postpartum, in the thick of motherhood.
Which, spoiler, is different than the hormone that a male body needs. So if you are just running off all of the mainstream nervous system education that's been floating around, like you're actually causing harm.
Yeah, potentially could be. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I'm so excited.
And obviously, like are also being really intentional. We want this to meet you wherever you at, wherever we want this to meet you wherever you're at in like your mother care journey. So whether you're newer to your body of work or well seasoned, like we believe that there's going to be new perspectives, new language, new connections. And it's one of those things like Lauren and I were saying, like if this workshop was presented to us, we'd 100% sign up, even though these concepts we feel well versed in. It's just this ongoing like deepening and it like evolution and embodiment that happens every time you're kind of sitting in circle with this conversation. So if you hold space for moms, this is for you. Period.
Yes. Yeah. So matrescence in the nervous system, why every birth worker and mother care provider needs to connect the two, because you can't talk about matrescence without talking about the nervous system. They go hand in hand, and can't wait to share the connections that we're making. And not like you've said, Nicole, like you're going to learn new language, new perspectives, and new connections, but like the real kind of juicy bit about this is that you're going to leave with new ideas of how to support mothers. Like you're going to have tangible ways to incorporate this into your work with mothers to create deeper impact.
Right.
It's
like
big.
Not just like one size fits all textbook jargon. Yeah. Okay. So I guess this Musings and Magic episode was basically like a sales pitch, but that's what's alive for us right now. That's what's feeling so excited. Like, I think we literally want to make t-shirts about this and like scream about it from the rooftops, because now that we're regulated and ready, we can't shut up about it. So
maybe that's our first t-shirt.
Regulated and ready.
Because don't they have, I've seen sweaters that are like overstimulated. I want one that says regulated and ready.
What's funny is like we're so like we roll our eyes at the word regulated. So it's extra.
I know.
It's just a word that like we rarely use. Yeah, so sign up. This is going to be a pre-recorded thing. Just the way summer is lining up for us, it just didn't align to do this one live. So it's going to be pre-recorded. We have a pre-sale going on now. If you're listening to this as this episode is released, pre-sale is $44. And then when we release it on August 5th, the price will go up to $66. So jump in now.
No brainer.
Anything else? I know we need to wrap this one up. Anything?
Yeah, I gotta get going, but there was one thing I was gonna say. Oh yeah, it's pre-recorded. So it's gonna be like watching one of these episodes of Nicole and I just going off, so excited. And so passionate about what we're talking about. So yeah. We'd love to have you.
And then of course, we're still filling spots for Held. Founding member price is $66. If you join now, while those spots are available, you lock in at $66 a month. And then in September, when we officially kick off, the price is going to be $111 a month. So again, another no-brainer if you are a mother-serving professional, mother-serving visionary who is, desiring more impact in your body of work without bypassing your body. Held really is going to be the place for you. It's going to be that beautiful kind of hybrid of community and coaching. We are really blending nervous system, inner mastery, and business magic. So links are going to be in the show notes, as always.
Yeah. And if you're like, I'm not sure why that matters, like, I'm not sure why I need to work on my own nervous system, come to Matrescence in the nervous system. Yeah. It'll make even more sense why it is so important for you to learn to befriend your own nervous system so that it shapes how you show up for mothers. And so come to the workshop and you will have new language to understand why this is so important.
Yeah.
Okay, friend.
As always, we'd love to hear from you. So if anything lands or stirs from this episode, or if you have questions about these things we're talking about, our DMs are always open. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Okay, bye.